Hello friend, let's start 7th 7th class chapter number 12. Name is reproduction in a plant. Okay, in this chapter we will discuss about the reproduction process. What is actually reproduction? Reproduction is the production of new one individual from their parents is called a process of reproduction. In this chapter, we will discuss about how the reproduction take place in plant. Okay, then what is the reproduction mode of reproduction we will discuss here. Then you can see here that sometime you might have observed that you take some cutting of a rose and champa and bury in a soil. The new one plants is formatted, generated through the birds or through the birds of axil of the streams, and this is also they also to make produce a new one plant, and such type of reproduction is called asexual reproduction. Actually, what happened that asexual reproductions, there are two type of reproduction we will discuss here. First name is asexual reproduction and second name is asexual reproduction. Actually, what is asexual reproduction? Then is reproduction in which upon germination of new plant seed is not take place is called asexual reproduction. When the new plants is obtained without a seed is called asexual reproduction. Whereas what is sexual reproduction? When new plant is obtained through the seed is called sexual reproduction. Actually, sometimes you will feel that whenever you will go a garden, then flowers is come out in a mango tree. Then these are and it's after some in a summer season the flowers make into convert into fruits and juicy fruits, and we enjoy that and we discarded the seeds from that, and these seeds makes produce a new one individual plants. Then such type of reproduction is called a sexual reproduction. Then actually what is vegetative parts? When like as stem, flower, leaves, and these are the different part of the plants. And when such type of parts of plants taken place for germination of new one plants is such type of reproduction is called asexual reproduction. Then for knowing and for understanding of such type of asexual reproduction, we will analyze to this presentations. Such this representation will show us then how much type of reproductions and how asexual reproduction take place in our different plant. Then actually asexual reproductions is taken place sometime when the vegetative There are two types of reproduction that is discussed in this chapter. First is asexual and second is sexual. Then what is asexual reproduction? Actually, asexual reproduction is sometimes taken through a vegetative propagations, means vegetative such as the branches and stems, flowers, leaves. These are the different part of the plants. They germinate a new one plant. Then such type of reproduction is called asexual reproduction. Second type of reproduction name is asexual reproduction, name is budding. You can go and take some pieces of yeast and put into 1 glass of sugar dissolved water. What you will observe? You will observe that different the bulb like projection is come out through that, and a new one is formatted through the parent cell, parent yeast. Then such type of asexual reproduction name is a budding. Third is a fragmentation. See, for examples, you will go or you might have observed through the in the pond that a green patches is theirs, and when they get a suitable and favorable conditions, they spread it all over the pond. Then what is that? This is also a type of asexual reproduction. And fourth is a spore formations. You take a bread, pieces of breads, and leave for 2 and 3 days, and when they take a favorable conditions, the cotton like a structure come out through that, and they produce a spore, and they reproduce a new one. Then these are the different type of reproduction we will study here one by one. First is vegetative propagation, that you can see as it is a type of it is a scare that you might have observed through a magnifying glass. Then this is a bird, and when you take a portion of burden of a potato and bury in a soil, you will find that after some days new one plants is come out through that. Then what is this? This is also a vegetative propagation. These vegetative parts of the plants, and they generate a new one. What is this? This is also a pieces of ginger, and it is also taken of birds and reproduce a new one plant. And what is this? This is also a vegetative parts, means leaf is a vegetative parts of the plants, and bryophyllums is a leaves that generate a new one plants, and when we discarded the plants through the leaves and bury in soils, the new one plants is come out through that. Then these are the different type of vegetative asexual reproduction through the vegetative propagation. Now second type of asexual reproduction name is a budding. What is this? Whenever you take you will go a chemist halls and take some pieces of yeast and take 1 glass of water and dissolve sugar on that and put a yeast on that, then you will feel that after 2 and 3 minutes a bulb like projection is come out through that, and new birds is come out through that, and it is discarded through the parent cell. Then this is also a type of asexual reproduction. Third type of reproduction I have also discussed here, that what is this is a green patches you have seen in a ponds, and when they take a good and favorable conditions, after some day it is spread all over the pond. Then what is this is a asexual reproduction. Fourth name is a sport formations. You take some pieces of breads and put the and take a moist place, put this moist place, and when the spore is actually coated through a thick coated, and when they take favorable and suitable conditions, they grow and reproduce. Then this is also a part of asexual reproduction. Now a second type of reproduction name is a sexual reproduction. What is this? Actually, sexual reproduction, the flowers is a main component of a flower, main reproductive part. Actually, what happened, that the flowers are having a different types. Every flower, like as corn and papaya, is a unisexual flowers, whereas mustards and rose is bisexual flowers. Actually, what is this is of flowers you can see here, and this is the male portion of the flower, and this is a female portion of the flowers, and this is a male gametes, and it is a anthers. It is a male gametes, and it is a anthers, and this is a filament. Actually, anthers having a pollen grains that is very light in colors and light in weight. And what happened, and pistils, this is a ovary, stigma, and style are three parts of the female gamete. Then what happened, when the pollen grain that contains the anthers is very light, and it is landed through the stamen to a pistils, then this transformation is called pollination. This transformation is called pollination. Then this is your oval, and you can see it. Then there are two type of flowers is present. First is unisexual, means what, that flowers having only a male or a female gametes is called a unisexual, that you can see here, that this is a unisexual flowers, whereas that flowers having a male and female both gametes in one flowers is called a bisexual flower. Then this is a bisexual flowers. Then what happened, when the pollen grain that is covered in a thick coat of the anthers is landed through the stamen to pistils in one flower is called self-pollination, and in a different plant and different plant is called a cross-pollination. Then okay, then two type of pollination we have a study here. First is self-pollination, and second is a cross-pollination. When the pollen grain is transformed through a stamen to a pistil in a same plant, means same plant is called a self-pollination, and different plant is called a cross-pollination. Then two type of pollination we have studied here. Then okay, then I think that you have understood all the all the chapter that is, all the topic that is mentioned here. Then actually, and what is What is fertilizations? When the pollen grains comes through the anthers and landed in pistils, it is come through in such a way and fuse in when the male and female gametes is fused in each others is called fertilizations, and it is actually fused in our ovary, and the thick coat that is protected, that is called embryo. Then this is called this is called uh, uh, this is called a formation of the seed. Where the seed formated, where there where the male and female zygotes fuse in a ovary, and the thick coats that is present on that is called embryo. Then the seeds, you can see here that this is a apple and this is a seed. Okay, then seed is actually formed in a ovary, and a thick coat that is present here is called embryo. Now, what is seed dispersal? Actually, if you can imagine that many seeds is fallen down in one place, what will happen? They do not take good nourishment. That's why. And pollen grain seeds are very light, so that it is landed through the insects, through the water, through the wind to here and there, and that's why they take a good nurturing from the natures and they grow properly. Then this is called a seeds reprisal. Then I think that you have understood all the topic that is related to this chapter. Now I am going to discuss with you a question answer of this chapter. Question number first. A production of new individual from vegetative part of the parents is called asexual reproduction. A flower may have either male or female reproductive parts is called a unisexual unisexual flower. Okay, now the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma of a same or another flowers of a same kind is known as self pollination. Okay, the fusion of male and female gamete is termed as a fertilizations. Seed dispersal take place by the means of a insect, water, through the air. Okay, describe the different mode of asexual reproduction. Then asexual reproductions like as budding and fragmentation, leaves, vegetative parts of the plants is an example of asexual reproduction. Explain what you understood by the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is that type of reproduction when new type of plants we got through a seed is called sexual reproduction. Said the main difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. When for the reproductions, for the germination of new plants, seed required is called a sexual reproduction, whereas the new germination of plants without the seed is called asexual reproduction. Scale the reproductive parts of a flowers like as a stem, leaf, okay, and flower. Okay, flower, we will make a such type of diagram and we will. Okay. Now our next question is how does the process of fertilization take place in a flower when sorry, question number 6. Explain the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination. When a pollen grains transformed through a stamen to pistils in a same flower, same plant is called a self-pollination, and different plant is called a cross-pollination. Okay, how does the process of fertilization take place in flowers? When the pollen grains comes in a pistils and eggs goes in an ultimately ovary eggs fuse theirs and the new zygotes is formed here, and this process is called fertilization. Describe the various way by which seeds are depressed, like as first is water, second is wind, third is insect. These are the main way for differential of a seed. Okay, now here the column making. Then what is the bird? Bird is potato. Okay, eyes and bird is also fragmentation. You have know that fragmentation is budding. Sorry. Budding is taken place in a yeast, eyes in a potato, fragmentation in spore in spore forms, wings, fragmentation in yeast like as algae and maple, and wings is a rose. Spore is also bread model also. Okay, and wings is rose. Okay, then this is a now our next question. The reproductive parts of a plant is called flower. The process of fusions of male and female gametes is called fertilization. And our next and mature ovary is called fruits. A spore producing organism is called bread model, and bryophyllums can reproduce by its leaves. You can see here leaves is make bryophyllum leaves makes a new one plants, and we discarded the new one plants through the leaves and we take a new plant. Then I think that you have understood all the topic that is related to this chapter. Okay, now I am going to wrap up my session here, and I will meet with you in next class with new concept. Okay, thanks.